Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year once again to everyone. Welcome to our first Shotsuki Hoyo service for the year. Today we honor family members and friends whose anniversary of their passing were in the month of January. Today's service will be officiated by our supervising minister, Reverend Dennis Fujimoto. I would like to begin the service with a meditation reading. Sensei will strike the bell to begin and also to end the meditation. Sensei. All the peace and happiness of the whole globe, the peace and happiness of societies, the peace and happiness of family, the peace and happiness in the individual person's life, and the peace and happiness of even the animals, all depends on having loving kindness toward each other.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Please stand for our opening gatha. It will be found in the White Book on page 150. We are one. Please remain standing as we read together in the brown book, the Shin Buddhist Life Principles, which is found on page 9 of the brown book. Together, please. Entrusting in the vow of the Buddha, calling out Buddha's name, I will pass through the journey of life in strength and joy, bearing the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self. I will strive to live a life of gratitude, following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path. I will share the true Dharma with all, rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding all sentient beings. I will work towards the welfare of society and the world. Namo Butsu. Namo Butsu. Namo Butsu. Namo Butsu. The names of the Shotsuki Hoyo honorees for this month will not be read. For those who are here for the service, please come forward to Oshoko during the reading of the names. We will start. Nobuko Furusho. Leroy Gunnels. Ayako Oyashi. Unezo Ishizu. Fuji Ishizu. Mayoso Ito. Tokuzo Kimura. Fukuichi Kunimoto. Seizo Kunimoto. Suikichi Matsuda. James Taro Moshishita. Sasuke Morikawa. Saihachi Murakami. Shina Murakami. Fujino Otani. Eddie J. Peterson. Toru Shinosuka. Tammy Takanaga. Kisaichi Ueda. Barry Yasuda. Carrie Yasuda. Taichi Yoshioka. Yuka Matoba. Fuji Murakami Kamatani. Tsutomu Taniguchi. Shinako Iramura. Tom Yoneda. Tachi Matsuda. Bunichi Bob Yasuda. Hiroshi Karahara. Asayo Kawabuka. Itsuko Hamamoto. George Kazuo Okazaki. Alejo Bunwan. Kenzo John Okazaki. James Ryutsu Yamasaki. Yasu Kawase. Shimizu, Dennis Joka, George Kimura, Gengo Taji, Yoichi Okamoto, Sui Yok Lam, Minoru Matsuda, Ruth Hiraga, Ted Hiraga, Shizuo Kunimoto, Bill Shimizu, Masao Shimizu, Dr. Tetsuro Fuji, Suneo Moriki, Ni Yamaoka, Marie Sugiyama, Jean Mukaida, and Hiro Taniguchi. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Sensei will now offer Sanbujo. That's found on page 24 of the purple book. This will be followed by the Hyobyakumon dedication and sutra chanting. Today's sutra will be the first half of Amida Kyo on page 103. So in the purple book, page 24, Sanbujo, and Amida Kyo, page 103.
Today, on this occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of January, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Butsu, Namo Ho, Namo So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. りしゃこしゃくしゅめのにごんじきしちちゅれんげ大名しゃりしょうしきしょこおしきよこしゃくしきしゃこやくしきびゃこによこけつしゃりおごくらごくろ上十両せくろくしょう入社しほりぶごくろ天学応募二時昼夜六時理由万だらけ東国修上上位上丹各位英国上修行慶空行他法十万六仏即位自力伝統本国本実領業者理法国ら国の上十両世空六小本仏師者理法異国上流修十奇妙雑誌市長百国着法務者理家領民が無名市長聖書中長長や六時水和で音高音年長合根合力四方大分発祥の門行政等合同修上門税音に開始年仏年法年祖者理法上仏理師直筆正祭総称総称医者が四部国土無三幕宗者理法国土小満三幕同志両学教仏税書修書改正阿弥陀仏有料法本宣流演芸少佐者理法理部国土未府水道小法五十入法ラモ水妙法二葉百千十学同時仏さ門税恩赦開示年上年仏年法年祖死神者理法東部国土上十両税空読書ナモ
today's Dharma message will be given by Reverend Fujimoto.
Namanda, 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 namanda. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Nice to be here for our first Shotsuki service of the year. I appreciate being here, and particularly for our Shotsuki service. And I think winters are difficult, and January in particular, we have a lot of names in Alameda here at Enmanji. Most of our temples, we lose a lot of people, and the number of names on our January Shotsuki is often more than many of the other months. So. But it's very nice to have so many people come up, family, and acknowledging those we have lost during the month of January. So today being the first service and Shotsuki service, I thought I would talk about practice and ritual, and very fitting to start the year to talk about these types of things. As we come to practice Buddhism, Buddhism is to learn about ourselves, not to learn about Buddhism, but to learn about ourselves. And so as we practice, we are encouraged, and it leads us to learn about ourselves. And so learning through the practice of ritual. So when we come to the temple, two of the main aspects are reciting the Nembutsu quite often during the service, call and response. Sensei says Namo Amida Butsu, everyone responds Namo Amida Butsu. And then we have the chanting. This is also kind of a call and response. The words from the infinite, the words from the Buddha are recited, provided by the infinite, provided by Buddha, and then we recite these same words in response. Okay? So call and response that we recite the Nembutsu or the sutras of reverence, respect, and very deep appreciation should be in our minds as we do each of these practices of ritual. So please join me in Gassho, and I'll read this wasan. How brazen and impudent a person I am, and without the heart of truth or sincerity, but because the name is transferred by Amida, its virtues pervade the 10 directions. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida.
Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, so in this wasan, written by Shinran Shoni, he's describing himself, how brazen and impudent a person I am, without a heart of truth or sincerity. So sometimes when we read these wasans, the words are distant, maybe very religious sounding. So I was thinking, what other kind of word would fit when I'm thinking about myself as brazen and impudent? Maybe arrogant, arrogant person without heart of truth or sincerity. Maybe someone who's not real, someone who's fake, someone who's a punk. One friend told me, you're like a flim-flam man. This is years ago, right? What do you think about that? Flim-flam man. So this is what Shinran is talking about, these people with faults, okay? But because of the name is transferred by Amida, its virtues pervade the 10 directions, okay? So again, kind of like the ice and water, or light and shadow, another contrasting that he's providing by this wasan. So myself, I have these faults, and because of the light of Amida,
I'm able to recognize and notice these faults. Okay? Again, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. Okay? And we bring up, he often writes it with these kind of contrasts in these wasans. So today, I thought I'd share a few stories about chanting and the Nembutsu, and we can think about, consider ritual and practice as we come to the temple. Okay? So first story is about a pillow service. Okay? Makuragyo, and very early, my first assignment was to the Idaho, Oregon Buddhist Temple, and as you learn about Buddhism and becoming a minister, you study the chants, you practice the chants, you put on the robes, how to put on the robes, and what you do at this service, that service, pillow service, and each of these things we come to learn. But we don't really have a lot of time to practice each of these. And so for my first actual pillow service, I went to the Idaho, Oregon Temple, and it's kind of introduction. I was not assigned there yet, so I'm going there to check them out, and they're checking me out. So they invited me during this temple cleanup day. So a lot of members are at the temple cleaning up, and I jumped in and helped. And between the cleanup and the welcome dinner, there's like 3 hours of time. So one of their members asked me, Sensei, could we ask you to come to do a pillow service? My wife is in hospice, and maybe at that time he and his wife were my age now. Okay, so sure, I can go. And so they told me where the hospice location was, and his wife Jamie was, lying on the bed, and daughter and 2 nieces were there, and they're crying and passing the Kleenex box between the 3 of them. Husband is there and thanking me for coming, and so I changed into my robes, and first time, so kind of tried to break the ice a little bit, but being respectful of the family. So I went up to Jamie. So Jamie had been a huge part of the temple, teaching Dharma school for years and years, and I would say, the temple is Jamie's second home. So she felt really comfortable. And when we do a pillow service, people who are really familiar with and comfortable with coming to service, they appreciate that. Okay? Oftentimes it's thought of as the first service after someone passes away, but technically it's the last service before someone passes away. Okay, so for Jamie, it was nice and special that she would be able to hear the chanting one more time. Okay, so this is what makes it significant. People who are not so familiar with the ways of the temple, they might think of it as the first service after they pass away. So if Dad's still alive, why would we have you come now? It's kind of feeling like, since you're pushing this along, he hasn't passed away yet, right? And then you feel like you're intruding or something, and they don't feel comfortable with that. So you kind of want to know how the family sits in their connection with the rituals that we practice. So in Jamie's case, she's very familiar, very comfortable. So I said, Jamie, I'm not real familiar with this, but I'm coming to do a pillow service for you, so I need practice chanting anyway, so I'm going to do this, okay? So she's smiling. She knows I'm trying to break the ice and make it comfortable. So she's smiling, and the niece and daughter crying. So Sambujo and Juseige, and as the chanting goes, the crying settles down, everything calms down. Doing the chanting, they join in other chanting, and everyone's chanting into this one voice, and everything calms down, settling. Okay. And you feel that. Okay. So when I was first learning, someone had told me, when you speak or when you chant, the robes talk. And so it's not what I say. It's not my
beautiful chanting voice that calms the room. It's the words of the Buddha, the ritual that we have as Shin Buddhist minister. And so the robes talk, and at that moment, I really felt that. So, oh, now I get it. Now I get it. And so this is one example of the chanting taking over the setting, taking over the room to calm everyone down, to be on the same page. Another story. 10 years later, I'm still up in Ontario, and a couple, Hakujin wife and Thai, Hakujin husband and Thai wife, they wanted to start a food truck, okay? And they never came to the temple before, but she was Buddhist, and he sought me out. My wife, we're going to start this business and open up a Thai food truck, and she wanted someone to do a blessing for the truck. And some of our ministers, well, I'm sorry, we don't really do blessings, but I feel like, sure, okay, it's better to make friends than to chase them away. So, okay, I can do that. I do the same thing. It's not a blessing really, but it's chanting the same Jusei Sambujo in appreciation of these situations. A brand new food truck, she gets to appreciate and share all the recipes from the family. Okay, this will be a good thing. We'll set a date. You bring flowers and fruits, and we'll put it on the table, and I will chant and bring incense. And we set the date. So I thought before I come, I should try the food. What if it's lousy food, right? Then they may go out of business and they'll think, oh, the blessing was no good, right? And I'll get blamed for it. So Sharman and I, we buy a couple of dishes of Thai food. It's pretty good. Brand new, sparkling truck, beautiful. And she's cooking this food, and you could see her turning it all over the inside of the truck and working so hard in there. It happened to be very nice food. So a couple of weeks later, the date came, and we did this, lighting the incense. I had them stand behind me, and they had brought flowers and fruits, and I light the incense, and we're chanting. And during that chanting, they settle down, maybe thinking of all the conditions that had to come together just so, maybe thinking of mom, grandma, whatever causes brought her to the United States to start this business. Okay? And so you feel the same sense of the chanting and the ritual. Okay? So there have been many times, third story, Sharman and I, oftentimes we're called to come and do a service, a field service or a visitation, and mom or dad is at the hospital, and often in the hospital room there's a monitor, and you see everything going on, connections from the patient to the monitor, you see the heartbeat, right? And during that time, the family comes, they know Sensei's coming, so come on Sensei, I change into my robes, and everyone's there. Some of them may be crying, and there's like an agitation in the room, and you feel that, right? And you look at the monitor, and you see this agitation going on with the patient, with the family. So, okay, we're going to do this chanting, and after I'm changed, we do the Sambujo and Jusei Ge. Some of them might chant with me, and again, you could sense the room settling. You look at the monitor is calming down. The breathing gets deeper and more settled. The patient, mom or dad, is calming down, sensing this chanting, touching them. Right? Again and again and again, we've seen this happen. Right? And so even the monitor senses the change in the room. So this happens as we're doing the chanting, and they feel it. I know they feel it. Okay? So to chant the sutras, it is often described as that we read aloud the teaching of Shakyamuni, and with our innermost heart, we're praising the virtues of the Buddha, and reciting these names in respect and reverence. We just chanted the Amida Kyo, and these are, we have different chants. There's some are melodic, like the Sambujo, Amida Kyo, very straight reading, but all our voices come together in this calm and settled state. So at the temple, our voices join with each other's, and at home, maybe we're chanting by ourselves, maybe we're with our families. And just last week at Alameda, one of the members, my husband is building this Obutsudan, and maybe you can come over. I said, sure. And we talked about the Obutsudan. So at the home Obutsudan, it's like you become the sensei, right? You keep it nice and tidy. You're gonna have a service. Maybe you place the flower. You light the incense. You hit the king, and you start the chanting. Maybe your family joins you, or maybe it's just your voice. First couple of times, maybe you feel awkward or like I'm role playing or something, and we are. I felt that way first Makodakyo, role playing and not really being sensei, right? And so after a while, you get accustomed to it. So another thing similar, when we would go on vacation, the family, we would go to the Obutsudan before vacation and gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, itte mairimasu. My father would say, itte mairimasu. Did you ever say that at home? Or your parents? A few of you, right? Itte mairimasu. And so kind of like I'm leaving now, and even going to school, children would tell their mom, itte mairimasu. I'm going down. And so you go off to school, when you come back, tadaima, and mom would say, okaeri nasai. Right? In the same sense that this is the home, I'm leaving now, I'm returning. So your whole home becomes your Obutsudan. Okay? And so when we say this, we're remembering our connection and we're appreciating it. Okay? And so when we say Namo Amida Butsu, or we're chanting, it's kind of like mimicking, right? Mimicking what you saw the Buddha, what you saw the sensei do. So, Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, is considered the call of Amida, the call of the infinite, to connect, calling us to connect, to reconnect to this reality that surrounds all of us. We are a part of. This is where we came from, right? So, we had a Hatsumaidi last week. Family brought their new child, grandson, and it was his first service. So they considered it a Hatsumairi, first service, and we took pictures after service. And because of that, I was thinking, when you hold a baby, maybe it was your son or daughter, or maybe your son or daughter's son or daughter, grandson, granddaughter, right? Holding the baby and encouraging the first words, right? Mama, mama, come on, say mama, and encourage them, right? Dada, can you say dada? Come on. It's dada, dada, and encouraging. And so the baby is watching, doesn't understand the words, right? It's not like going back into its memory banks trying to, what would be the proper response for a mom, right? They're not thinking that. What is the etymological roots of what they are requesting of me? They're not thinking anything like that, right? I don't think so. My first words when I was a baby, as a mother, I have deep and profound feelings for you. Those are my very first words. You believe that? Yeah, so they are not thinking, they're just mimicking the words. Mama, mama, right? Mimicking. So, but they don't understand, but they are acknowledging. What do they acknowledge? They acknowledge the connection, the relationship to their parents, the bi-directionality of communication and love. and it's real, right? So, I believe this is what happens at the temple. The baby responds, Mama, Mama, Dada, Dada, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. It's the same. It's the same. It's exactly the same. Right? So, this is what happens at the temple through ritual. We don't think about it, but viscerally, our being, our person, recognizes the connection, the reconnection to this infinite reality. We recognize it, and then our minds say, I think I'll go to the temple. I think I'll go to church today. We're not thinking about that connection, but we felt that. That's why we want to come back here, and we want to say the Namos. We want to chant, okay? Because we're comfortable and familiar. There's a connection that's happening. Right? It doesn't come to mind. That's not the reason we came here. It is, but it's not the thought reason that we came here. There's a knowing of that feeling and that urge to reconnect to something that we have always been a part of. I believe this. So as we think about our lives, all these causes and conditions that have to happen exactly so for me to be able to live my life at this moment. And then we realize that all these things happen exactly so, just for me. Just for me. So when we begin to recognize that, then it's a very dynamic perspective of reality that emerges. The integration of the individual and the infinite, expressed as Namo Amida Butsu. So this is why we come here. It's about learning about ourselves in that deepest part of us, not a subject to read and learn about Buddhism, but to learn about us. And I'm describing to you what happens here and why we return. Please join me as I read this Wasang one more time. How brazen and impudent a person I am, and without a heart of truth or sincerity. But because the name is transferred by Amida, its virtues pervades the 10 directions. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. The rituals we have are so meaningful. Thank you so much. Please stand for our closing gatha found in the Brown Book on page 115 of the Brown Book. We will have Otete no Kodomo. Are there any announcements? If not, oh, sorry.
Happy New Year to all. I just wanted to remind everybody that the Bay District Buddhist Women's League will have a conference this year hosted by Enmanji. That's each of us. And to help defray some of the costs, the Bay District Buddhist Women's League is going to have a virtual community fundraiser with Panda Express. So I'm going to leave these out in the hall, and if you would like to take one home and help the BWL out, we would appreciate it. And if anybody has any question, ask the BWA, Enmanji BWA board. Thanks.
Thank you, Claire. Any other announcements? This concludes our January Shotsuki Hoyo service. Our appreciation to Reverend Fujimoto for your daughter's message. Thank you to the January Toban for the flowers and offerings. Our appreciation to George Tsao for sending up the old Naijin and starting the service with the concho. And thank you, Dr. Kent Matsuda, for playing the organ. You are invited to Oshoku if you had not had a chance to do so. Light refreshments will be served in the hall until 4 o'clock. Thank you once again for coming today.